What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Hellbound Garage. As you can tell, our atmosphere is a little different than normal, and believe it or not, I'm working on the Datsun, but I got held up during some product not showing up on time, so that's why we started this project. I'm not really sure if this video will come out before the Datsun progress, but just in case it does, this is why. Product holdup, which is kind of a normal thing nowadays. But anyways, I started working on this guy that's underneath this tarp and screen door. Yes, the weather's kind of crappy outside, which is why the atmosphere has changed. And that project is for the Tundra. So let me uncover it and show you what I'm doing. All right, there it is. This is the start of the flatbed for the Tundra. So if you've seen previous videos, you know that when I bought the truck, I already knew that the bed was an issue because it was used by a company to haul chemicals, and they loaded it with a forklift. So between the chemicals and the forklift, the bed got pretty much wrecked, and all that's really holding it together right now is bed liner, which, I mean, is a testament to how strong bed liner is, but I need to get it fixed. I also have a project that goes in conjunction with the flatbed, but I need to get the flatbed done first before I can actually start on the next part of it. So every time that I go and think about this, because I've never actually started it until now, I always decide on different dimensions. So I've finally made up my mind on how I was going to do it, and we're going to do a 74 by 75 tray. The bed stock is 72 inches wide, at least for this model. So I was going back and forth on how I want to do it. Did I want to keep it at 72 and then do like a 72 by 75, or did the original pieces that I bought, because I've had this material for months, my very first thought about it was to do a completely stock style, so the absolute length and absolute width of the bed, which is something like a 72 by like 78. But I've changed my mind. I'm going to build this bed so that it stops at the edge of the frame rails of the truck, and we're going to give the bed a little bit of poke out the sides, so just for S&Gs. There's no real rhyme or reason to why it's that thick, or that wide. The only reason behind it would be the tires that are on the truck right now. They do stick out about 3 inches on each side from the stock body, which is why I have rub in the front. But that's neither here nor there. I'm going to build some, not flares, but little bump outs to cover the wheels to make sure that the truck stays completely road legal, and we'll go from there. But because I originally bought this with a different design in mind, I have been cutting down a couple inches off of each section of material. That way it adheres to my new design. And I have completely squared this up, and it is 100% pretty much the way that it's going to be. So I just need to cut the remaining pieces and get them all tacked into place, because this end here I actually have to remove and cut an inch off of these pieces that go this way. And that is because this section needs to have an inch overlap, but that was kind of a hindsight after I already squared it up, and because I already have it squared up, I'm going to do as much as I can and then go back and modify the 2 sections that I need to. Anyways, I'm going to get back to cutting. I got my trusty Harbor Freight bandsaw. I'm going to get all the pieces cut and tacked into place, and I'll see you then. Alright, update time. So, if you can tell, I made some progress. I cut down all the lengths, and then I used these guys. These are 1/8 inch thick little cutoffs that I had in my scrap bin, and put one here and on the bottom side, and then clamped it. That way there is a a lip or an edge right here that's an eighth inch thick high. Reason for that is the plate that's going to be on the top of all of this is going to be 1/8 inch thick, and then I'm going to actually make it so it's removable. So I had to give me that little bit of lip, that way it was nice and smooth after everything is said and done. And the other thing that I've done is I've cut these guys out and laid them out. Now, to most people this seems relatively simple, and for the most part it is, but I had to take into consideration where the load was going to be on this flatbed after it's installed on the truck. And surprisingly enough, the main load for this truck should be in the front area of the flatbed, because I'm planning on putting something in this area, which will be in a future video. But I had to figure out the space that would be decent for this area, and then I placed that bar there, and then I had this space left over, and from there it actually worked out, because the same distance from that rail to that rail is that rail to that rail, and this center section is actually a little narrower, which works out because any normal loads will be in that area of the truck. Things like lumber, dirt, gravel, anything that I may throw on this thing after it's installed on the truck. It's all tacked into place and it's all square, so we'll jump into a time lapse of me. I'll end up busting out my newer welder and flipping that to solid core wire, because I've only had it as flux core wire, and then that way I can get used to it, because there's a lot of welding that needs to be done on this, so that'll give me plenty of time to get used to the solid core wire in the new machine, give me plenty of practice without any worries of burning through, unlike the Datsun. So let's kick on a time lapse of me busting out the welder and doing a bunch of welding on it.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seeds as I spread with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
So some of the welds turned out better than others. I am welding outside in an unshielded environment, so a lot of times what I was finding is if the wind picked up, the gas would blow away from the weld, and I'd get a little bit of a goofiness. Also, every time that I went over one of my tacks, the weld got a little goofy there. So if it was an area where neither of those things occurred, the welds turned out really well. Alright, and we are done with all the welding on the base frame. This is all the material that I have here at the house. I do need to go buy more material. I wasn't really sure when I was going to get to this project, and I didn't know actually how much material I was going to end up using. So now that I have used all the material that I have and welded it as far as I can go, I'll need to go pick up more material from the metal shop in the next day or two, whenever I get around to it. So hope you enjoyed this one. In the next one, we will focus on probably the tail section, and then maybe like the actual mounting for the checker plate or diamond plate. That's going to be the top of this, but we'll see. It really just depends on what I buy, what I have, and where I'm at in all the other projects that I have. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Until next time.